The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of Bronxnet or the program underwriters.
Hola everyone, welcome to Open, the one and only show bringing the best of the Bronx, New York, and the world straight to you. I'm Rhina Valentin, your hosty Café con Leche every Friday. Here's what's coming up in today's show. Leading things off, we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with award-winning photojournalist Marisol Diaz Gordon as we discuss her new exhibition 25, showcasing some of her most prominent work. After that, we'll sit down with acclaimed novelist Ernesto Quinonez to discuss the significance of his book Bodega Dreams and the impact it's had on individuals over the years. Then we'll speak to actor Victor Cruz about his recurring role in the new Netflix series The Good Cop, along with his acting studio. He'll even show us some acting techniques during the segment that you don't want to miss. And later on in the show, Bobby C brings us up to date with the latest headlines in the world of sports. And finally, our Open Artist Spotlight features singer and songwriter Kola Rai, who will be performing a single off of her new EP Arrival. So sit back y prepárate. All this and more is headed your way because now we are officially open. Hello, welcome to Open, everyone. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche for the next hour. Always inviting you to get social with us online, that is. Make sure to tweet us and follow us on Instagram at Bronxnet TV or like us on Facebook at Open Bronxnet Television. And of course, while you're there, don't forget, follow more on Twitter, FB, Instagram, Insta Stories, LinkedIn, Snapchat at Rhina Valentin. I kind of stuttered a little bit on Snapchat because, kind of going back and forth with Snapchat. Anywho, don't forget to also follow us tweet us at Bronxnet TV, and while you're there, tweet me too at Rhina Valentin. All right, in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month, the Hall of Fame Gallery at Bronx Community College has chosen to honor photojournalist Marisol Diaz. And for 25 years, she's used her camera to capture some of the most interesting stories from politics, arts, food, and more. She is the official photographer for Pregones and the Puerto Rican Traveling Theater, along with Newsday, and she's also a professor at CUNY's City College. And joining us to tell us more about her work and latest exhibition, we welcome award-winning photojournalist Marisol Diaz Gordon. Hello.
Hey, thanks for having me, Rhina.
Welcome. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, you're on fire. I mean, we had you back in like a matter of a couple of months.
A couple of months, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's really, really, really refreshing to see your work receive all the accolades that it deserves. I mean,
Thank you.
while you have been consistently working and you've worked with various newspapers and you just continue to be a hired photographer, the fact that you're now being exhibited at 25 years, you look too young. You look too young. But it's beautiful, and congratulations on that.
Thank you. I'm really lucky that I'm getting work. I'm blessed to have work from Newsday and AM New York, a great place to work at. But they also send me out on adventures. And lo metida que soy, nosy that I am, I don't mind going out on adventures. Just recently, I was on the High Line. They have this 1,000 opera singers on the High Line, and it was fabulous. And I thought to myself, I wouldn't know this. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my job. Like, my job lets me go to these places and see these people and just feel the energy and then capture it. But it's just, I'm blessed. I'm
You
so
know, as a
blessed.
matter of fact, thank you for mentioning that because you shared it with me, and I wouldn't have known if you
You
didn't.
have to go.
Yeah.
It ends October 8th. And you
Right.
go
So
online, you get
basically, they
tickets
just
for
all
that.
stand throughout the High Line,
The
and they're all
entire
singing, and then everybody
mile.
works around them or walks around them.
People just walk around them, through them, and you have people on one side, and then when it opens up in the Highland, certain parts open up more, you have multiple people singing or reciting or poetry or saying something.
Okay, beautiful. So what
And
day
it's
is that
gorgeous.
happening?
So it's now until October 8th
So it's
on
every
the
day?
Highline. You have to go online for information because
Okay,
I think it's free, but you have to like get tickets because they need to make sure they have a certain amount of flow going through.
And then, of course, you captured it for AM New York and Newsday, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So, but in addition to that, you also capture our community, and
Yes.
I've watched you capture our community
Yes.
throughout the years, and your style of captivating your everyone, captivating the actual subject, captivating me as the viewer. It's just, oh my gosh, that's Dr. Roscoe Brown.
So the story of Dr. Roscoe Brown, he was a red tail Tuskegee Airman. And this was at his home a few years ago in Riverdale. So I was working with the Riverdale Press. This was February 20th.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, 2012. So interesting thing is that I went to Bronx Community College when he was president of the college. And then I find myself in his home photographing him and his medals and his planes. And there's another photo of him. And I was floored. I mean, he was telling me how in the beginning of Red Tail, the movie, there's a particular character that's portraying him.
Right.
And he was reliving his life as a red tail. He had these model planes.
Marisol.
They're gorgeous. I was honored to be his presence.
No, I know,
drooled.
but here's the beauty. I'm listening to you, and I want to make sure that everybody gets the gist of your photographs,
yes.
right? And I'm looking at the photograph, and I'm looking at the texture of his hands, and the fact that you're able to really engage with your subjects in this manner, where you become part of their life, or you get an inkling of history, right? You get
Yes.
a snippet of his
Yes.
history, right? And it's beautiful that you get it one-on-one, and then you're capturing it on camera, and now it's on display excuse me, in your solo exhibition
Yes.
at Bronx Community College, where he was the president.
Exactly.
However, he is one of many that you have captured.
Yes.
And so I want to make sure that we get through as many images as we can so
Sure.
that people understand. I mean, I know that you
Yes.
can't help yourself because you're a professor.
Oh, no,
and so
yeah.
you want to give us the history behind everything. But I want to make sure that everybody understands that this is really about seeing everyone that you've been able to capture throughout the years through
There's
your
a lot,
eyes.
and there's a lot.
And there's a lot. So what else do we have that we can share with our viewers so that we can discuss and just really talk about how you capture? Because you know, I'm not a photographer, but I wondered, you know, was that natural lighting? Did you set up lighting? I mean, look, this is beautiful. What a statement. I mean, it's
Citizenship.
So
I mean, this was no flash, natural lighting at the library in 42nd Street with the two lions on it. And that made the cover of AM New York. But at a time in which immigration is something that's on people's minds, I think it was really important to capture something like this. And again, I was lucky to see it and that she was there.
Right.
Not, you know, you
the
go
lighting,
out there.
the
yeah,
colors,
it's
just, you know, the statement and the next generation.
exactly.
Yes,
I
all right.
mean,
Yeah.
so many things were happening. A lot of, again, you know, this was a graduation I was sent to shoot, but you keep your eyes open for everything and anything. And this was in Long Island, the Coliseum, but that makes a statement in itself.
Absolutely. And you know, she graduated proud.
She
Of
graduated
her
proud.
heritage,
Yes.
right? Of her religion, of her culture.
Exactly.
And you have been capturing not only Muslim and not only immigrant stories, you've captured politicians. And the beauty of it, I don't know if we're going to show, but I hope we are able to show the governor image that you have. Is that on
Yes.
display as well?
That's all on display. I have images of, I had to throw a politician in there, why not?
Right, Governor Cuomo, yeah,
Governor
there it is.
Cuomo.
That's a nice shot. And you know why? Because aside from the fact that, yeah, this is an issue we're going through right now with the subway system, right? I'm
Yes.
assuming.
That's exactly
right?
what that is about, yes. That's exactly.
But the texture in your capturing is really what captivates the eye and I guess kind of allows you to feel like you're there.
Thank you. That's why I always hope. And one of the things that students always say is like, oh, how do you get over the fear? How do you do it? Well, you don't use your camera as a crutch. You use it as a tool to move you forward and to see the world. So when I went into the monastery and I was still a student at City College, I did that because I wanted to know what was behind the doors. When I went to the firehouse and from 1997 to 2002 and documented and stayed over, I'm not sure I'm supposed to say that, but there it is, and rode on fire trucks, and I was still a student. Why? Because I wanted to know. So those are actually up and in a portfolio. I have about 5 portfolio boxes at the show too.
Oh, wow.
So you have 40
so it's
plus
not just
images,
what's on the wall.
and there's newspapers, and there's portfolio boxes. There's a book that I was a part of. There's work from 1993 when I started, so people can see the evolution, but that's in a box. And you would have to like go through some. I would say there's probably about 70 to 90 images, including the portfolios. I shot for the New York Mets at Shea Stadium for a couple years whenever, you know, I was able to go in. I shot Mike Piazza's last game with the New York Mets. Todd Zeal, I used to shoot Jose Reyes stealing second base. So I went from religion to sport to politics. I have crime. I have regular people. Sometimes students always want to know who's the most famous person, and I'm like, the most famous person I photographed, people in the community. Wherever I point my camera, that's the most famous person at that moment to me. So I can't tell you like what is the top notch, because everyone is. And I think if you treat every situation that way, then you are trying to succeed in your job.
Wow. And we acknowledge you, and I would like to personally thank you on behalf of all of us here in the Bronx for making sure that we're documented and that you put us in a spotlight as just contributing citizens of our community.
Exactly.
All right.
Thank you.
And I'm going to let everybody know that the exhibition is up until the end of the month, right?
Correct. Yes.
And once again, thank you for coming through,
Thank you for
and
having
thank
me.
you for capturing us. Love it. And she's quite the historian, Marisol Diaz, right? She's got a collection, and that's the Marisol Diaz collection of work, which will be on display at the Hall Fame Gallery at the Bronx Community College for the entire month of October. And if you're interested in obtaining more information, you can visit bccc.cuny.edu, or you can just go to marisoldiaz.com. All right, we're taking a quick break, but when we return, we'll talk to the author behind the classic novel, excuse me, Bodega Dreams. When we return, don't go anywhere.
We are together. And for the last 20 years, we have been building on a vision to share our views, our voices on our channels. We are the Bronx. We are Bronxnet.
And I can't change, even if I try, even if I wanted to. My love, she keeps me warm. 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 She keeps me warm.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
Love is kind. Love is patient.
Hello, and welcome back to Open Everyone. You know, always inviting you to get social with us. That's right. Tweet us at Bronxnet TV, and while you're there, tweet me too at Rhina Valentin. Our second guest is acclaimed novelist, essayist, screenplay writer, oral storyteller, and a Cornell professor hailing from Spanish Harlem via Ecuador. He's written several books, but he's mostly known for his first book, the classic Bodega Dreams, a story the New York Times called an immigrant classic. And here today to talk about the inspiration behind his book and the impact it has had on numerous generations of students, we welcome the infamous Ernesto Quinonez.
Thanks for inviting me.
He's like, no hay pa tanto, nena.
No, dame más.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for coming all the way down from Cornell to be with us here in the Bronx today.
It's a pleasure.
And thank you for this jewel of a book that you have created for our community. And how many years has this been going now?
Close to 20.
20. You don't even, you look 20.
Shakira keeps me young.
Shakira.
I wake her up and say, go to the piano and write a song.
And then she, you sure?
Sometimes.
Oh, I thought you were going to say she sings My Hips Don't Lie. Blushing. Gotcha. All right, so 20 years. 20 years. What inspired this book 20 years ago?
Well, I wanted to tell the story of Spanish Harlem as well as stories from me, my hopes, my dreams, my fears. So I set them inside the life of Julio Mercado, who is a CUNY student and lives with Blanca. And I think many of us from neighborhoods like El Barrio, neighborhoods like the South Bronx, Bushwick, Bed-Stuy, especially in those days and before gentrification, we had to somehow travel a path of family and legitimacy and yet still keep our friends who were not exactly in that path. They were in the path of crime and maybe things that weren't exactly correct, but they were still your friends. So you still wanted to stay close to them as well, but at the same time, don't cross over that line. So it's very hard sometimes for us, especially young men, to actually stay, let's say, straight and at the same time keep their friends. So I wanted to write about that experience from my side.
When you say straight, just to be clear, we're not talking about sexual orientation. We're talking about
whatever tickles your pickle.
Oh my goodness, I can't with you.
I meant straight with the law.
I know,
Oh,
but I
okay.
just want to be clear so that they understand that that's what we were referencing. I mean, it doesn't matter to me either, but.
Well, the new rainbow, cover is good. It shows that, we believe and we support.
I love.
And everybody's good.
I love, right. Well, because that's right. It's all about colors. And,
That's right.
And variety.
Sí,
Okay,
claro.
so back to the story.
Yeah, Nelson tells the story of Willie Bodega, who is an ex-young lord who is now a crime lord, but he has a vision, and what he does with his money is that he's actually buying abandoned buildings that the city's not renovating and is renting them low and cheap to the residents of El Barrio, and he's paying their children's tuition. And his vision is that he'll have a professional class born and bred from El Barrio of doctors, lawyers, administrators who actually stay in El Barrio and would rise the neighborhood up.
So how close is this to your life?
The first chapter is pretty much my life, and then the other sprinkled around.
It's sprinkled in, yeah, I know, I just pried, right? But the truth is that being a Barrio girl, because I'm originally from El Barrio, I understand that whole street family and your home family and how you have to walk that line and you have to kind of like just find the balance, right? Because you have to kind of work both sides, because when you're out in the street, these are the people that are going to take care of you. And then, of course, you want to make sure that you're a contributing citizen to your community. That's the theme for today, or a good contribution. I mean, in either way, it's about elevation, but it's the way in which one elevates.
Yes. And how you somehow find some middle ground to be also street and also find your own sort of legitimacy. For example, you mentioned the street and the home. There's a lot of curses in Bodega Dreams, but they never happen at home because we don't curse at home when we're with our parents. We do not. We curse when we're in the street. So you see Chino cursing only in the street. He does not curse when he's at home with his wife.
Right, and that, because that's a language within itself.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
Right, what do they call it now? Ebonics? You're a college professor. Come on, you gonna tell me you don't keep up?
I'm just a spy in their country, man.
That's good.
I'll bill her later. I've given her all these lines. All this dead air.
I know. Yeah, oh my God. He's my director now too. No, but I hear you because the truth is that this book is still relevant now. And unfortunately, you know, we've had incidents within the urban community in which they're losing ballots, let's say. Right?
Yeah. You know, what it makes me proud really about this book is the way the community has embraced it. And when I hear people, and especially boys, and the reason I mention boys is because boys don't like to read, you know? So when they actually read something, it really excites me. And the fact that they're reading my book makes me so happy. And hopefully this will lead them to read some more, you know? And sometimes it happens, not frequently, but it does happen. I get a lot of young guys in the street say, "Are you Ernesto Quinonez?" Usually I say, "Do I owe you money?" You know, just to, and they say, no, I don't owe you. And they say, "Oh, I went to college because of Bodega Dreams. I'm going to college because of Bodega Dreams. I'm applying to college because of Bodega Dreams." And I say, "You know what? I can die. This is it. This is what you do it for. The awards, the acclaim, you know, that if it comes, but this is your Guggenheims. These are your Pulitzers. These young boys saying, I went to college because of Bodega Dreams." And sometimes at Cornell, I get students who knock at my door and they say, "You know, I'm here because of Bodega Dreams." And I say, "Thank you, that makes me happy. I'm here because of Bodega Dreams too." They wouldn't have hired me. But so I owe a lot to the book as well as they do.
That's so lovely. I really appreciate your humility. I mean, you've transformed so many lives in 20 years. And how do you feel walking around carrying that?
That's what makes me happy more than anything. You know, I was at Bronx Native, the store at 127 Lincoln Avenue, and they have these hoodies, Bodega Dreams hoodies.
Nice.
That he said, you know, you inspire me to create some art for, and I was like, that's what it's about, you know, touching someone and actually your story staying with them so that they can create their own stories, their own art. Get my high.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and so right now we have it in English, we have it in Spanish. Like, what would you like to leave our viewers with that may not be familiar with Bodega Dreams? I doubt they're not familiar, but if they're not, we're introducing them to it.
I'd like to leave our viewers with, you know, there's a lot of stories within our own cultures. There's a lot of story in our own ethnicities. There's no need for vampires and zombies. The magic is within our own cultures. We have coquis, we have vejigantes. You know, we have a lot of myth within our own culture. So if you want to be an artist, or if you just want to entertain yourself instead of checking out someone else's culture, which is fine, you should branch out, but always start at home. See what are your own ethnicities, myths. And I do this exercise at Cornell with my students, and the Asian Americans have no problems. They have their myths. They go to ghosts and stuff like that. The Japanese Americans have no problems. The Latinos have no problems. They have La Llorona and all of that stuff. The white kids, they're like, "Oh, I don't have myths." I'm like, "Where were you from?" "New Jersey." "Where are your parents from?" "Austria." I'm like, "There's tons of myths in Austria." Yeah, they don't know their own myths.
Right.
And they're basically just so American. And the American myth is superheroes and stuff like in the West, but that's not us, you know. We have our own myths. So check out your own stories, check out your own culture.
Even if you mix, like
if you mix, it's
right?
even better,
right?
Because
You're Puerto Rican and Ecuadorian.
Yes,
I forgot to mention that.
Then you have two. You have two cultures to draw from. So.
And marry them within yourself.
Oh yes, absolutely. That's true love.
True love.
You'll never get divorced.
I love it.
Yes.
You do have great lines. We're going to talk after. Woo, you guys,
Okay.
Ernesto Quinonez here on set.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here and blessing us with your presence, and you guys for Bodega Dreams. That can be found at any local bookstore as well as Barnes & Noble. And of course, it's online, available on Amazon, and make sure to get your copy because Bodega Dreams is a classic must-have. We're going to take a quick break, but when we return, we sit down with actor Victor Cruz about his new recurring role in the new Netflix series, The Good Cop. You don't want to miss that. Don't go anywhere.
Chiru has no choice. She and millions like her walk miles a day for dirty water. But together, we can end their walk by providing clean water close by. Instead of spending hours walking to get water that makes them sick, girls can be in a classroom and moms will gain back time to care for their families. Sons and daughters can grow up strong, finally free of sicknesses. It's true. When you just add water, you change a life. Learn more at worldvision.org.
right, here we go. Our next guest is he's a no stranger to our set, or many sets for that matter.
All this dead air.
Yeah, actor Victor Cruz. Careers. Well, let's get straight for a minute, all right? So actor Victor Cruz is,
like,
yeah. Well, you know, you guys want to know about his career because I want to know about his career. It began, with 2 TV appearances on The Sopranos. And, some of his TV and film credits include, well-known projects as Kimmy Schmidt, Blue Bloods, House of Cards, and The Humbling with Al Pacino. And now he has his own acting studio, and he has a recurring role on the new Netflix hit show, The Good Cop, with Tony Danza and Josh Groban. We're going to take a sneak peek of that, and we're going to get straight when we come back.
All right, let's go, people.
Already, I think the Vic is a pretty big fish.
Serrato Hollow Point, second one today.
Lieutenant, you're gonna want to see this.
How you doing, guys? What's happening? Hey, son of mine.
Dad.
How's it going?
You can't bring a civilian to an active crime scene.
Come on, son. I mean, she's not exactly a civilian. I mean, look at her. How you doing? I'm Tony Caruso. You're the detective that did 7 years upstate. I was kind of a naughty cop. We laugh about that all the time.
They love him.
They don't have to live with him.
Anthony, your old man said you're the best detective in the city.
I told him everything I know.
Except right from wrong. That I learned on my own.
You break one rule, they all break.
You ever wonder why you're not invited to more parties?
I've been watching you two. The bantering, the teasing. It's obviously a deep form of affection. It's very sexual.
No. Oh, I don't know.
Probably not.
A cop's been killed up there on the left.
The Neptune Hotel. One of the guests was shot.
Dr. Kornbluth just posted the autopsy.
I can't see it from here, Ryan.
Is that better?
There's one thing every good detective knows.
What's that?
It's 6 o'clock. I'll tell you tomorrow.
These cop retreats are a blast.
Ethics in modern police work? You signed me up to speak?
It wasn't easy getting you on that panel. Had to slip the organizer a little do-re-mi.
You bribed a guy to get me on the ethics panel?
Cost me $50. You be pro, I'll be con. You see what happens when you play by the rules?
Excuse me.
Well, is everything okay?
It's my father. So, no.
You're my son again. I didn't want to tell you before, but earlier today I disowned you. I can't wait to tell the guys. Oh, you're all right.
And joining us to tell us more about his new role in the Netflix series The Good Cop, along with his upcoming season of Victor Cruz Acting Studio, we welcome actor, teacher, filmmaker, and Rhina Valentin wannabe, Victor Cruz.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on your show. This is awesome. And thank you for letting me open up for you. I felt like you. I had, just felt like I could be Rhina Valentin. So fabulous.
Well, I figured we'd start, exercising at the top of the segment. However, I want to congratulate you on this new recurring role. It's a very interesting series. Let's talk a little bit about that before we get into the acting methods of Victor Cruz Acting Studio.
For sure, really, really exciting. The Good Cop is a great show. It's from the same makers of Monk. So if you're a big fan of Monk, you're gonna love The Good Cop. I play a recurring character called Sergeant Rudner on the show. It's just been a lot of fun. It's a laid-back environment when we were shooting the show, and you'll see all that stuff.
So I watched a few episodes, and I find it's kind of interesting, the show, because there's a fine line between the comedy aspect of it and the I guess the suspension of belief in certain scenarios.
Sure.
And then of course I got to see you come in and out, and be this kind of like comical cop. Everybody here, this one has like impediments. Josh Groban, is he OCD? Is that what that is? Like, what is that?
It's interesting. I think he's just like another version of Monk. He has a bit of OCD, but he's by the book, and that's why it's such a funny show, because it's a big contrast to Tony Danza's character, who plays his father on the show, who's sort of considered a dirty cop. He wasn't such a great cop in his time, served time in prison, so now they live together and have to deal with each other. And so it's a good opposition that makes for good comedy, but they still allow some of the dramatic stuff to still live there. So it's not all silly all the time.
No, it isn't. It was fun. I was enjoying watching it, and it was really refreshing to see Tony Danza because, you know, a mí no me importa que está viejo, todavía está rico.
No, listen, the guy is solid, man. Listen, I remember I came in, I gave him a hug during one of the last shoots, and when I hugged him, I mean, his muscles are tight, you know? It's just like, wow, I'm the old guy here. You young, man.
And you know, I also love that they incorporated his boxing history into his
right.
Character.
That's right.
I love that.
Yep.
So it's still there, and there's that truth aspect of it, and there's relations to other boxers. I saw that one particular episode where the guy escaped from jail, and he had to dress like a woman and hang out in his basement, and his son is like, oh, they're misplacing his glasses to try. They're looking for the guy that's living in their basement, dressed like a woman.
Yes.
And so it's just all that, the storyline and the way they're telling the story is very fascinating. I've never seen it before. I've never seen it done. But I guess that's why you opened up with it. It's created by the creators of Monk.
Yeah, and if you look at that show, that was very serious, but then it had some really silly moments, you know, but then still brought you back to that dramatic, you know, area.
Yeah. So how's that been working with Tony Danza and Josh Groban?
It's great. Tony is super down to earth, humble. He's like an uncle. Call him Uncle Tony. Josh Groban's super duper nice guy. I mean, everybody you see on the show is very humble, down to the ground, and that was very helpful.
Yes, and that's what I love about you, just in general as a person, is you're so humble. I mean, you go and you work with all these celebrities. I know you've worked with Cameron Diaz. I mean, you've worked with Al Pacino, and it doesn't get any more humbling than that. And yet you've chosen to find a way to pay it forward and pass it forward with this new acting studio. Well, it's not new, but now you're really going in full force because I know you've been teaching and coaching on the side for quite some time now. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, so, you know, I started officially teaching in 2011. Before that, I was helping friends and people that I knew prepare for auditions or just work with them on new material that they were developing. It was during that time that I thought, you know, I think I can teach. And then I held a free workshop where I wasn't even sure who would show up. Instagram, Twitter wasn't even out then. Just Facebook was still sort of fairly new. And I shared the news about this free workshop. Over 40 people showed up to this free workshop. Most of them I did not know. We had a fantastic workshop, and it was in that moment I said, you know what, I think I can do something here. 2 weeks later, had my first class. 18 people showed up to that first class. And I said, okay, I think there's something. Even though I was nervous, I was afraid, I wasn't sure, because here I am running an acting class under my own banner. It wasn't part of a school or anything.
Right.
I was completely taking control and charge. And I had to build my confidence. I had to really, as a teacher, and really look at what my self-worth and value was. And I realized that I had a lot to offer, you know, in terms of my approach and some of the lessons that I had learned from my own spiritual teacher, which actually when I incorporated that, it really went into a much greater place.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what you got for us because I understand we're going to do an exercise.
Yes.
So bring it on, baby, bring it on.
So I'm gonna take my glasses off for this one.
Oh my goodness, he has to take
the
his
glasses come off.
All right.
All right, so we're gonna do this in a fairly short amount of time. But what I ask you is, though we're live right now, people are watching you, that you be as honest and as honest as possible as you can be. So close your eyes for a second.
Okay.
And I want you to think about today and how you got here, your morning coffee, your morning tea, the makeup while it was being put on. I want you to let go of all of that stuff because that has nothing to do with this moment.
All right, I'm gonna meditate now.
Now, I want you to think about the one thing that gets in the way of your success. If you could see what that person, that group of people, that thing, if it's an entity, you decide what it is. But if you can just take a moment to look at that for what it is and be honest, even though we're on live TV, okay? Can you see it? Can you imagine what you would tell this person, this group of people, this entity, this thing, what you would tell it? You've arrived at a place now where you are finally standing up for yourself. And this thing that stands in your way can no longer stand there because you've got things you got to do. Can you imagine what you would tell it? Okay. In a few seconds, I'm going to ask you to open up your eyes. In front of you, there's a piece of paper, there's a pen, and this is not about proper spelling, this is not about it being perfect. You have literally 60 seconds to write down exactly what you would tell it. This is you creating your own original monologue. And while you do that, I'm going to talk to the people as you're doing it. When 60 seconds are up, we're going to jump right into it. But we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Here we go. Open your eyes and begin. So folks at home that are watching, right now Rhina is basically creating her own original monologue based on something that I've shared with her. In my classes, everything that we work on is original material that you, the student, creates. So none of it is scenes from plays in the past, or once in a while it might be a scene or a monologue or even a commercial copy that I might provide from my studio. But most of it is you. And the reason I have you create original material is because this is a great opportunity for you to take full control of your moment and realize that you are more than just an actor, that there's a lot of confidence, a lot of gold waiting inside to come out. A lot of times we're afraid. We've allowed society and the world to tell us, to dictate who we are. And so we hide. But during this process, you can actually be completely honest and stop. So.
Everything stops.
You see what happens?
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of energy. Just
yeah. Woo!
All right. So take a moment and just read for us aloud that piece that you just wrote.
The ceiling will be busted, for I am not a conformist. I wish the judgment that taunts me didn't become equivalent to my financial gain.
Now, this is great. You wrote this in 60 seconds, okay? You didn't think about it. What you did without realizing it is that you trusted yourself. Now, if I had asked you to write this and give it to me in a couple days, you might have called me on the second day and you say, you know what, Victor, what is it you want from me exactly? So now you have this. You did this because you trust yourself. This is part of your self-worth, your value. Now, who are you talking to when you read this?
To the people that judge me.
The people that judge you, and you can see who they are.
Yeah.
Now, can you, in your mind, you don't have to tell me this, are you clear on what you want from them? Imagine that they're there. They're right in the camera.
All right.
Do you know exactly what you want from them?
Yes.
Okay. So now I want you to see them. And now that you know what you want, I want you to actually go for it.
Okay.
So let that be the thing, the driving force for the words that you've written here on paper.
Okay. So really all I'm looking for is that you support and trust my process.
No, you're going to read what's on the script.
Oh, I'm going to write? Okay.
Yes,
oh,
what you've written.
I'm like, hey, I'm waiting. Support me. That's what I need.
So see them for a second.
Okay.
See them for who and what they are.
All right.
This is what it is. This is real.
Okay.
Now you're going to express what you've written with that intention. Be honest about it.
Okay. Here we go. No fuimos. The ceiling will be busted, for I am not a conformist. I wish the judgment that taunts me didn't become equivalent to my financial gain.
How'd that feel?
Interesting. Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, they didn't do a solo shot, so you were in the shot, so it didn't feel
That's
like
okay.
it was, but because it kind of felt like,
Do we have time for a solo shot?
I don't know, but it's all.
Do we have time for a solo
we don't.
shot?
And my director just whispered in my
All
ear,
right.
we don't.
Okay, so quickly what we did here. You trusted yourself. You wrote your own piece. This is beautiful. This is gold. It came from you. Secondly, once you discover who you're talking to and what you want, you give that information to your body follows, and you immediately start to do what you came to do versus getting nervous, getting caught up in your brain, and doing something else. So this is just one of the lessons we teach in my class.
I appreciate that, Victor, and I thank you. And I got to say, you know, I love what you bring out in me, and I hope you guys enjoyed his acting lesson with me, and I allowed myself to let go and be free. And yeah, but I understand your acting classes are by invitation only?
No, so the beginner, so we have 3 courses now. I've just added the advanced course. That's the only course that's by invitation only, because at the end of that course, we do an industry showcase where you present work in front of the industry, casting directors, agents, managers.
Okay.
The beginner and the intermediate, You can sign up to it at any point. Our next set of classes are kicking off on October 30th.
And they can find that on your website.
Yes, you can go to victorcruzactingstudio.com.
Awesome. I know, we went over.
That's all right.
Oh my gosh, everybody's in on it. All right, for acting lessons with Victor Cruz, please make sure to visit his victorcruzactingstudio.com. That's his website, victorcruzactingstudio.com. Stay tuned, Bobby C's Weekly Sports Roundup is coming up next.
This is Bobby C reporting from Yankee Stadium. There's very few times in your life where champagne in your eyes and the burning sensation that comes with it is actually a good thing. The Yankees are moving on to Boston, folks. They defeat the Oakland Athletics in the wild card game.
The crowd set the tone for us, just coming out, before the national anthem was even over, they were going crazy, and this whole team, this whole city, fed off that energy.
How crazy is this? I'm just a Missouri boy. I never thought I'd be playing for the Yankees, and now I'm playing on this, center stage in the world, and I'm having the time of my life.
How important is it to get an opportunity to play in big-time moments like this?
It's amazing. I would have never knew I'd be in this position. That's the crazy thing about baseball. We can take you on some crazy rides, and just to be in this position is it's definitely a blessing.
How great does this feel? I know last year you guys were so close to the World Series. Just to be back on track to maybe get there again this year.
It feels amazing. I mean, for us to be able to get back and playing in the postseason is going to be huge.
Having the best bullpen in the game is, it's quite a tool we got. Especially with the 7 years of starters we have. We just go 4 or 5 innings and hand it off to the bullpen. It puts us in pretty good position.
Has this lived up to everything you thought it would be so far?
It feels really good. I mean, I feel really happy for right now. The team do a really good job tonight, and we're happy. I mean, we enjoy the moment and ready for the Boston series.
We never breathe because it's the next series comes up, so there's no chilling time. You got to focus on doing your job and go from there. So there's no relaxing time, no just breathe and everything because you want to win the first one to go to the next one. So our plan is to make it all the way to the end.
The Yankees and Red Sox don't meet each other too often in the postseason, so it's gonna be a fun series. It'll be a fun weekend, and obviously we're excited to be moving on and get a chance to play them.
Yes, Rhina, that was a champagne jerry curl. Those are fun, unless you're an A's fan or play for Oakland, of course. Was there really any doubt, Yankee fans? With the team's loss in the American League wildcard game, the Athletics have now dropped their last 8 winner-take-all games. There was no shame in losing to the historically powerful Yankees on Wednesday in the Bronx, but Oakland's futility in big spots dates back to 2000. That year was the first of 4 consecutive seasons that the Athletics would lose Game 5 of the ALDS. The game was won in the first inning on that moonshot from Aaron Judge. The new, more Herculean version of Derek Jeter set the tone. The Bombers never looked back. And yes, as I've said on this show before, the Yanks go where Aaron Judge goes, case and verdict. In Boston, the Pinstripers will go where J. Happ goes tonight. The Red Sox killer will toe the rubber and oppose Yankee killer Chris Sale, 7:32 first pitch. The left-handed Happ has been one of the Yankees' strongest pitchers of late, going 7-0 in 11 starts he made after being traded from Toronto on July 26th. Happ won the first 5 games he appeared in with the Yankees. He finished the regular season with a 17-6 overall record and a 3.65 ERA. He went 1-1 with a 1.99 ERA in 4 starts against the Red Sox this season. Since 2015, Happ has been an impressive 5-1 against the Red Sox, compiling a 1.98 ERA with 58 strikeouts and just 23 walks in 12 starts, while limiting Boston to a 199 batting average. Yanks will follow Happ with Masahiro Tanaka in Game 2. Boston will trot out David Price in Game 2. Bombers will be back in the Bronx Monday night for Game 3 in the best-of-5 series. Despite Boston winning 108 games and the Yanks now standing at 101 on this season, including Wednesday night's wild-card win, I'm still taking the Pinstripers. The Bombers match up well with Boston. They could easily sweep this series. Yes, you heard me say that correctly, but I'll take them in 4 games. No one beats the Yanks in the Bronx. They'll close out the series Tuesday night. I expect to see a Houston-New York ALCS rematch. Milwaukee and Colorado and the LA Dodgers and Atlanta are the other two series in the National League. Cleveland and Houston are playing in the other division series. In the American League, the Rockies eliminated the Chicago Cubs in the NL wildcard game. Time for some quick hitters. On the ice, the New York Rangers kick-started their 2018-19 season last night at MSG. Nashville slipped past the Broadway Blue Shirts 3-2. The Rangers will look to bounce back Saturday night in Buffalo. In Carolina, the Islanders skated past the Hurricanes in overtime 2-1. They'll host Nashville Saturday. The Devils will take on Edmonton in their season opener Saturday in New Jersey. From the NBA preseason, the New York Knicks are 2-0 following Monday's overtime victory against Washington and Wednesday night's 107-102 win against the Nets in Brooklyn. The Nets will be back in action in Detroit Monday night. The Knicks are home tonight for New Orleans. LeBron James and the LA Lakers are 1-2 to start the preseason, but look sharp in a 128-123 final against Sacramento Thursday night. Brooklyn native Lance Stevenson had the new look Showtime Lakers moving and grooving. From Formula One, Lewis Hamilton will likely be moving and grooving this weekend in Japan. The F1 leader has won 3 straight races. It's Mercedes who have enjoyed recent success at the Japanese Grand Prix, winning the last 4 editions of the race, with Hamilton claiming 3 of those triumphs. The Brit is on a mission to earn his 5th Japanese win this weekend, with the overall aim of increasing his lead at the top of the championship. Meanwhile, NASCAR is in Dover this weekend. I'll take Kevin Harvick in this one. Since 2005, the fastest car in a given race won 40% of the time. Harvick, whose number 4 Ford is the fastest car in the series this season, has the only vehicle that ranks inside the fastest 5 on all track types represented in this round. That elite speed served him well. He won at both Dover and Kansas earlier this year and finished 4th at Talladega. On the NFL gridiron, the New York Giants are in Carolina Sunday to face the Panthers at 1 p.m. The Jets will be home Sunday for a 1 p.m. kickoff at the Meadowlands. Denver is coming to MetLife. I'll take the Giants and the Jets in a bounce-back week for the two teams. The New England Patriots continued their bounce-back on Thursday Night Football last night, 2 in a row. Pats quarterback Tom Brady became the 3rd player in NFL history to throw 500 touchdown passes, reaching the mark in the 4th quarter on Thursday night's game against the Indianapolis Colts. Brady connected with wide receiver Josh Gordon on a 39-yard pass with 9:19 left to join Peyton Manning and Brett Favre as the only quarterbacks to throw for 500 touchdowns. New Orleans Saints quarterback Drew Brees is on the cusp of becoming the 4th. Pats win 38-24. Number 7 Oklahoma and number 19 Texas face off in one of the best rivalries in college football this weekend. Texas is a dangerous team and could be a serious contender this year. Number 6 Notre Dame will take on number 24 Virginia Tech in another notable matchup Saturday. While closer to home, Fordham football is still searching for their first win of the season. They'll host Georgetown at Rose Hill at 1 p.m. Notre Dame, Virginia Tech kicks off at 8 p.m. Oklahoma, Texas gets started at noon. Dave Anderson, a sports columnist for the New York Times for more than 3 decades and the recipient of a Pulitzer Prize for commentary, an award rarely bestowed on a sports writer, died on Thursday in Crestkill, New Jersey. He was 89 years old. Anderson wrote for his high school and college newspapers and got his first newsroom job at 16 in the mid-1940s when he was hired by a messenger for the New York Sun, where his father worked in advertising sales. After college, he covered the Dodgers for the Brooklyn Eagle in 1953 and 54. When that newspaper went out of business in 1955, he went to the Journal-American. He moved on to the Times as a general assignment sports writer in 1966. He was a great man. I'm honored to say I had the pleasure of meeting him in the press box. He will be missed. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for the main event. This Saturday night is the biggest fight in UFC history. Khabib Nurmagomedov at 26-0 will likely somehow be a slight underdog by the time he and Conor McGregor hit the cage in Las Vegas. Conor has a way of inspiring belief and faith in everyone, and while I love watching him fight and listening to him in press conferences, I think this time Conor is going down. He looks invincible, right? The infamous Irish phenom has been on the cover of GQ, was listed in the top 5 of Forbes' highest paid athletes this year, just dropped his own Irish whiskey and cashed in on $100 million in 2017 for a boxing match against Floyd Mayweather. As a 2-division champion who never lost his titles, He had them taken from his waist during his 2-year hiatus from the UFC. McGregor is the face of MMA. Nurmagomedov has been clear about what he wants to do. He wants to take it all away from McGregor. He doesn't want to beat McGregor. He wants to destroy him. He wants this to be his story. Chris Weidman took out longtime middleweight champion Anderson Silva at UFC 162. He became an icon killer in the process. Khabib will do the same Saturday night. The main card starts at 10 p.m. on pay-per-view, a weekend of underdog upsets. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made this vacation happen.
Double points with every purchase?
Cleverly merging promotions.
Love it.
Cross-referencing travel sites. And booking all your flights with those...
Vouchers. I got us bumped.
They were like, oh. But now they're like... Aloha. You aced this vacation. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Hello and welcome back to Open, everyone. It's now time for this week's Open Artist Spotlight. This week's Open Artist Spotlight features a Bronx-born singer who has made a name for herself throughout New York City by performing in places such as the Dean's List Tour, SOB, Soul Village, and Uptown Soul Village, and that's just to name a few. She just finished touring with singer Michael Bloom, performing at places at Lollapalooza, SXSW, the Governor's Ball, and Mott, and she's even recently had the opportunity to be featured in the TV promotion for Jennifer Lopez during the MTV Awards, and now she's here to perform her new single, Feel My Rain. Please welcome singer-songwriter Kola Rai.
Can you tell a difference from a dog to a cheetah? A minister to a creeper. Said you wanna take me where the grass is greener. And we made for a reason. You are the rays in the winter time, giving me shade from a summer sky. Said that you'll always be down for me. Now you've been pulling the ground for me. Yeah. Swimming in my river, sleeping. Oh, now you're surrounded by my memories, but you missed a chance to get me. Now you get to keep it all of this regret. You're gonna feel my, oh yeah, you're gonna feel my, oh na na na, you're gonna miss me, babe. Na 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 na. Can you tell a difference from a dog to a cheetah? A minister to a creeper. Said you wanna take me where the grass is greener. And we met for a reason. You were the rays in the winter time, giving me shade from a summer sky. Said that you'll always be down for me. Now you've been pulling the ground for me. Yeah. Woo! Swimming in my river, sleeping me. Oh. Now you're surrounded by my memories, and you missed a chance to have me. All you get to give is all of this regret. You're gonna feel my, oh yeah, you're gonna feel my, oh na na na, you're gonna miss me, babe. Hey, 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 yeah, you're gonna feel my brain. No, no, no. Hey, check it. You're gonna feel my. You're gonna feel my.
welcome to our Open Artist Spotlight.
Thank you.
First time having you here, girl. How long you been traveling now?
Ah, man, all my life I had to travel. No, but
that's a good thing, though.
You know, it's a great thing. It's a blessing. It's an opportunity, and I'm so excited to be doing my own music again and just really pushing my own music now.
So let's talk about this new EP.
So this new EP is coming out in December, around my birthday. My new single, Reckless, is actually going to be out on the 19th of October. So
Of October,
I'm
congratulations.
So excited. Thank
Nice.
you. Thank you.
And so, yeah, I mean, you've been touring with other people, and now this is your own. This is your own thing now, and,
Right.
And so we got you here first.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you.
No, we appreciate you. We love having people on first, and then they go win their Grammys, and then we have you back.
Okay.
All right. Now we're gonna have to come up with our own, because that's not yours. So
You know what?
You're gonna have to come up with your own that matches your move, because I was back there going, yes, Kola. I'm right there
here for
with
it.
you.
I'm here for it.
All
Yep.
right. So let's talk about this new release that's happening in October, and then of course you have the whole EP coming out in December, right?
Yep.
So what's happening in between then?
So in between then, I'm just doing a whole bunch of shows. I'm going to be performing at SOBs again, and I'll also be performing with Michael Bloom. I'll be songwriting, mostly in the studio, just doing music videos for the EP and just prepping. So it's more so just prepping for the EP, getting it right and tight for y'all. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
And where can they get the music now?
So you can get the music. It's going to be out again in December, but my recent single that will be out is on October 19th. And you can find it on all platforms, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play, and just Google Kola Rai, Kolarai, and you will find me.
Yay, Kola Rai, everyone! Woo! All right,
you.
we're gonna have you back. We're gonna have you back after your EP is released and all that.
Yeah.
Kola Rai music, once again, you guys can be found on SoundCloud at Kola Rai, and you can also follow her on Instagram, Kola Rai Music. That is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through, and to you, our viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out the Recablecast tonight and 24 hours a day at Bronxnet.tv. I'm Rhina Valentin, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor, and happy Hispanic Heritage Month, mi gente. Adios.